Hello, my name is Clay Howerton. I directed this short movie, The Muse, for the 48-hour film project in 2017. We begin with a quote from Luke, in which the disciples reflect on how stirred they were to be in the presence of the Lord. This is the first clue that the muse in this story may not be a muse at all, but perhaps an angel of the Lord. And we meet her as she gives us our elemental metaphor for this movie, which is the flame, which represents the spark of creativity. And she speaks to all creative people as she looks into the flame, and she speaks most especially as she breaks the fourth wall to the audience itself and creative members of the audience. She also fulfills the requirement for the line of dialogue, "Tell me something I do not know." We set the rhythm with the tapping from the piano to the Underwood typewriter to the easel for the painter to the shoes of the muse who is approaching one of these creative people. When we turn to the scene with the piano player, the muse appears mysteriously, but she is heard first humming notes that suggest a tune to the musician, and he picks up that tune and will carry that as he plays an amazing piece of music throughout the rest of the score for this movie. The muse also then, in a time frame that might be 1970 or might be today, inspires the writer. We'll see that what he writes is the lyric that she gave us at the beginning of the movie. We love the Underwood typewriter. There's a great prop with some charisma. Mackenzie Moss portrays the painter. He's not the actual painter. We'll meet her later. The painter is frustrated, but as he looks out his window, he's going to see the muse. This is 2017, and there she is, the elusive maiden in Maiden Alley, and she looks directly at him as he's looking at his window, and he's got to chase her and ask if he can paint a portrait of her. Now, of course, the scenes within his painter studio are nowhere near Maiden Alley, but for the purposes of the movie, and with a drone shot to show his point of view out his window, it makes no difference. And when he traps the muse in front of the river, she disappears. He can't believe it. He's discouraged, but there she is in a sparkling fiery red gown, again indicating the elemental metaphor of fire. She represents fire herself and spark of creativity, and she has inspired him to paint. And she has inspired the musician Joey Treehorn to now fantasize that he is playing the piece that he has composed, which was actually composed by Franz Liszt, but is actually played by our actor Evan Watkins. He is playing this at the Carson Center in Paducah, Kentucky on the Paducah Symphony Orchestra's Steinway & Son grand piano, and we see the muse appear and cheer him on. The writer gets to work writing his story, and he's going to tell us the story of John and Jenna Hamilton, a couple from the late 60s. In 1969, we find that John Hamilton has passed away, and Jenna, his wife, visits his grave and is distraught. We introduce Timelapse Photography into the mix, and Tanya Gadbal-Nitsky actually painted the portrait of the muse during the filming of this 48-hour film project. She took about 2 hours and 20 minutes, and we captured it all with 840 photographs and sequenced them in a time lapse. I've never seen anything like that in a 48-hour movie project, and it's quite extraordinary. We then return to the writer's story where Jenna Hamilton flips on a Bell & Howell 8mm projector, and she is watching movies that she had from 1968 of her and her husband in happier times. Jenna Day, who plays the widow, does an amazing job of acting the part. She has real tears streaming down her cheeks. Nothing was done to prompt that other than she knew she needed to reflect those emotions on her face to carry this mostly wordless story. We used a wheelchair to get this shot, a tracking shot with no track, alongside a train where Jenna is going to send John on his way as he's deployed to Vietnam in 1968. Meanwhile, the piano player continues to play the piece Un Sospiro, which means a sigh, by Franz Liszt. Professionally lit by professional lighting expert Jen Thompson. And the painter continues to paint in amazing time-lapse photography. This movie has more creativity in it, courtesy of members of the Paducah School of Art and Design. Very thankful to Paul Aho, the Dean of the Paducah School of Art and Design, being one of our executive producers and finding great talent to work on this project. Really beautiful shots by Basil Drosos, our cinematographer, of the flame, the piano, the muse, and those she inspires. The portrait is just amazing work, and Tanya's a great painter. Owen Terry Jr., O.T., concludes his story showing the muse as the widow, imagining that she's dancing with her late husband, and then we get back to reality. She is alone and dancing, just imagining her late husband. Played by my nephew, John Blinkhorn, who responded in the overwhelmingly affirmative when Jenna Day asked him in our brainstorming session, "Would you like to be my husband?" And that is the end of the writer's story. He's triumphant. And that is the end of our story. The muse reminds us that she's looking to inspire all creative people. And when we get to the credits, we see Late July performing an original tune of hers that she let us use for this production. She recorded this on stage at the Carson Center, also on the 12th of August, 2017. She's an amazing singer and is going to be a big star, just like Jenna Day is an amazing actress and is going to be a big star as well. There are many other people not part of our team directly who we need to thank. Folks at the Carson Center, Brian Lasco, Jeff Foreman, Mary Katz, and others. Sue Clark at Foxbriar Inn, Michael Cochran from Market House Theater, Frank Bennett from the National Quilt Museum, Ryan and Joelle Long from Texas Roadhouse, John and Shar from John's Pass Carriage Service, the folks at Kirchhoff's, and Brian Katz. Very thankful to all the participants in this year's 48-hour film project. It truly is the most creative single day of filming and recording I've ever been a part of, and I've never seen anything like this in a 2-day movie production. Thank you very much.